This is Camnet News. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. Thank you so much for joining us. We look at the top stories on our desk. Eastern Province motorbike riders demand for white books. LUMANGWE FAZ in KAWAMBWA district receives a facelift with 5 million KWACHA. And Patriotic Front Party clears arrears for all illegal 2016 office bearers. In international news, FBI pursues Trump supporters involved in the Capitol siege. And in sports news, government bans football fans at all FAZ-MTN league games. Join me shortly for the details.
Monday, 11th January 2021 on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chilua as he hosts a vibrant, young, creative, self-motivated leader, Mulenga Sata. You can participate on the program through phone calls, text and Zoom. Camnet TV, not just another channel. 2021 is finally here. Zambia is at the crossroads heading towards general elections this August. In the world where fake news, biased reporting on national issues has become the order of the day, in a world where social media in most cases spills lies and exaggerated information, insightful coverage, Zambia needs one media. Living in a country where people are slowly promoting tribalism, hatred, bitterness and revenge, political temperature is heating up and people's hearts are perplexed. Zambia needs one media. Zambia being a Christian nation living under the lordship of Jesus Christ, the nation cannot afford a compromised gospel. Zambia needs a prophetic media house. For hope, peace and unity, Zambia needs Camnet television for non-biased, factual reporting, balanced opinion, accurate news coverage. Zambia needs Camnet television for national projects and development of our beloved country Zambia. Watch Camnet TV on channel 274 DSTV, channel 98 on Go TV, and channel 106 on Topstar. Remember, Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Thank you so much for joining us. We now look at the news in detail. The Ministry of Tourism and Arts has released more than 5 million KWACHA to Mporokoso District Council to improve the road network and infrastructure at LUMANGWE FAZ. Minister of Tourism and Arts Ronald Chitotela says the money was released under the Tourism Development Fund. Mr. Chitotela says the funds will be used to put up a modern infrastructure such as the ablution block, ticketing office, shelter, car park and chalets at LUMANGWE Heritage Site. He has expressed happiness that the works on the road leading to the falls have started. Mr. Chitotela was speaking in an interview in KAWAMBWA. A National Heritage Conservation Commission Northern Regional Director Kagosi Malowe says improving the road network leading to LUMANGWE Falls will attract more tourists. Mr. Mwamulowe says LUMANGWE Falls has the potential to become a big tourist attraction once the road is improved and supporting infrastructure is constructed. Details in this report. It has been nicknamed the Mini Victoria Falls. This is LUMANGWE Falls, which is shared between KAWAMBWA and Mporokoso District. The National Heritage Site has the capacity to attract both foreign and local tourists. This is why the Ministry of Tourism and Arts has allocated funds worth 5 million KWACHA to improve infrastructure at the site. Tourism and Arts Minister Ronald Chitotela is in KAWAMBWA on a working visit where he handed over the funds.
Yes, that's why the Minister of Tourism released the funding to Mporokoso District Town Council to put up the 3 crossing points because we want LUMANGWE waterfalls to be accessible throughout the year. And we are very glad that the contract was awarded, the contractor mobilized and the works are going on despite the disruption by the rains. We are hoping that after the rain season, the contractor will speed up.
The Northern Tourism Circuit is excited that LUMANGWE Force has started receiving attention from government. It is noted that with these works going on at LUMANGWE Force, it will see an improved traffic flow of people throughout the year.
It is of the foundation, a concrete foundation, and after that we're expecting that culverts will be put here and will be raised, the ground will be raised to make sure that water can pass freely.
So when they finish the culverts, we expect them to start now the construction of the ablution block, the conference center and other related to infrastructure facilities.
Sharon Kalimula, Camnet News. Health Minister Dr. Chitalu Chilufya has sent his condolences to the family of the late former local government Deputy Minister Crispin Mushosha, who succumbed to the COVID-19 virus on Saturday, 19th of January 2021. The cases of the COVID-19 have continued to surge at alarming levels, with the country today recording 23 deaths over the last 24 hours and 1,241 cases out of 12,383 tests conducted. In a statement issued to the media, Dr. Chilufya has revealed that over 60% of the patients in health facilities require oxygen therapy and advanced medication. The minister says it is sad to note that regardless of the high numbers of people still not adhering to the COVID-19 measures. He has since warned that in line with the Public Health Act Cap 295 of the laws of Zambia and Statutory Instrument 21, 22 and 62 of the laws of Zambia, will visit those floating the public health regulations and action will be taken accordingly. Moving on in the news, a distressed mother of an 8-year-old son who lives in Lusaka's Kanyama compound is pleading for financial support for her son's treatment, who has a brain health condition that affects his way of thinking. Natalia Mwanza, who does part-time general works, mainly washing people's clothes, disclosed that her son, Gabriel Mwanza, 3 days after he was born, he was diagnosed with a condition known as hydrocephalus. She says it is hard for her to get him treatment because of lack of funds. Miriam Kawambwa filed this report.
His hope is one day of completing his studies and becoming a civic leader. However, for his goal to see its achievement, treatment is needed to get him cured. This is Gabriel Mwanza, an 8-year-old boy of Lusaka's Kanyama compound who has been suffering from a condition called hydrocephalus, which is also known as water on the brain.
Ufuna ku school ufuna ukankale chani ukakula ufuna ukankale chani doctor
Hydrocephalus, a condition that Gabriel has been suffering since his birth, according to his mother, occurs when fluid builds up in the skull and causes the brain to swell. The name means water on the brain. Brain damage occurs as a result of the fluid buildup. This can lead to developmental, physical, and intellectual impairment. It requires treatment to prevent serious complications. His mother, Natalia Mwanza, who is struggling to maintain his well-being, explains the challenges she has to encounter on a day-to-day basis.
Problem number ni shaina 3 days yo badwa nipea namba kutwa. So after badwa anamba ku fitting village. Namnyamula nampeleka ku clinic, namngira ko manyere chimula sana. Anichosa futi na bwerera ko stimo problem senzo si. So after kwanisa ko 3 months manje naenda naye pa hospital ndipo bana nuzo ta mwana alina manzi mmoto sofunika mwende kuti UTH tibanje bafake tube. Nze naenda ku UTH after wamuchosa bamufaka mchani tube anakuwa mchosa manzi wafaka tube. Ankala nayo 6 years yabwa yaonongeka ya first. Naenda futi kuja waenda wamuchosa nje. Panapita 2 weeks yabwa yaonongeka manje ndipenze anabwa dwala manje akuti akwanise 1 week afike na intensive mwangu wose wa drama zokuti bachose tube ja bafake ina. Senzo kwanza kukamba, senzo kwanza chitabili vonse olukunyang'anisa kuche olukupumu nga dwala sama kwanisi. So ngalikuja atjela mutubu bunda vonse ama nkalache nopinda mula chape sama kwanisa chitabili vonse.
His father explains that surviving in the city with this harsh economy is a challenge.
After whatever happens,
mwana kutambana apezekana problem so manje kuje transport yenzolesowa kuti kwele basi mulete hospital yetiye so ndiye tumena boya kuno kusa kuti kalipo kupi na ndiye dola adwala ndio watu ni kwani sio mpapa na transport makali ngapi ni tandi zako kimo na sungule mwana basi sisi wenza
A bright future is what this couple wishes for their son, but for them to achieve that, assistance is what is needed.
Kumutu ni hapa so kumutu kwa hivyo wangamba pamozi na pamozi but pamara ndiye pemne machinja so ofaka wangamba penangu then poendo chosa ngaya unongeka wendo ngamba futi penangu.
Miriam Kemba reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
A 29-year-old man of Lusaka who was electrocuted while at work is calling on well-wishers to offer him a job so that he can be able to fend for himself. Wisdom Debele has told Camnet TV that the accident in which he was involved happened in 2018 while on duty left him with an injured manhood and depending on a catheter for urinating. Mr. Debele is, however, not able to take up strenuous jobs due to his condition. Prudence Chota filed this report.
It is a wish of every responsible man to be the provider of his family and meet all his matrimonial responsibilities. But that has not been the case for a 39-year-old man of Lusaka's John Leng compound who got electrocuted while on duty. Wisdom Ndebele is the victim of the accident that has led to the closure of his urethra, rendering him impotent. The situation has led to him not to be able to fulfill his matrimonial duties, and his wife has left due to the condition.
I was working under PGC company. That's where I got my injury. I was electrocuted when I was in duty under company. After the accident, I started urinating blood, not until it clotted, started clotting. It closed my urethra. So I stopped urinating using my organ. So I'm using a catheter, a pipe for weeing. Now it has overstayed. It is getting now rotting inside. I'm in pain. So this is the pipe. There is a urinary bag. This is a urinary bag. This is how I wee. So this is not normal. You can see even urine is yellow, which means inside I'm rotting. Mafina. So how can I survive like this? The family is scattered because of this. I cannot function anymore. So where am I going to get help?
The victim has also narrated the medicals that he has undergone since his accident.
I went for medication, then the company sponsored me for 6 months. Then later afterward, it handed me to compensation. They said, I cannot sponsor you anymore. Compensation should take over. After that, compensation started taking me to clinic, but there we got quotation. After getting quotation, they never produced any amount for my wounds. And my wounds are rotting now. It's 2 years now.
The challenges which has been facing, it has been hectic for the whole family. Like he explained, he said the family has deserted him because he cannot function, he cannot make money for the family. And then the main problem is he's got nowhere to stay due to the fact that he cannot handle to pay for the rentals.
Mr. Ndebele is also appealing to government for specialized treatment and is also appealing to well-wishers to help him acquire a lighter job that will help him earn an income that will sustain him and his family.
So my appealing to the government, I'm asking for aid, a help, whereby maybe they can take me to the hospital, they help on this problem I'm facing. After that, then I can ask them to help me any job which I can do, because I cannot do any hard job as for now. I need to return my family back. I'm still, although I'm old, but at least I can do something to sustain my life.
His former employer has also confirmed the accident to Camnet News.
I spent from the company more than 60,000 KWACHA to help him in private hospitals. So we helped him as far as we could help him. And then we did what we did by law. And on top of that one, I sent him to Coptic Hospital for 3 surgeries, what we paid from the company. I helped him financially for his rental, all these kind of things. And you know, and I've told him, you know, there's also a limit for me. That's why we pay workers' compensation. These people are there to help you as well. And we have UTH. And from there on, I didn't hear him anymore.
Meanwhile, Workers' Compensation says it is aware of Mr. Ndebele and that they have been taking care of his medical expenses since the accident. The cry for well-wishers to help Mr. Ndebele still remains, as this will go a long way in helping him sustain himself and perhaps his family. Prudence Tota for Camnet TV News.
Now, a man in his late 30s whose house collapsed due to heavy rains in Lusaka's garden compound has received help from well-wishers. Felix Kandembwele, who could not hide his joy, told Camnet TV that he has been homeless for close to 3 months now. Aspiring Member of Parliament from Mandevo constituency, Joseph Tamba, made a donation of building materials, among them blocks, building sand, adding that it is the duty of every citizen, not only those in leadership, to ensure that the needy are helped in society. One of the basic human rights is having shelter, but this is far-fetched as many still have no roof over their head. Zambia still has a huge housing deficit, with the majority of its population living below the poverty line, meaning that many cannot afford to build or own a house. Worse off if the house one has been brought down due to natural causes like heavy rains, it leads one into destitution. One of the residents of Garden Compound has today received building materials to help him get back on his feet after his house collapsed a few months ago.
So after natamangira kuno wanitumira phone na bamene bafuna imira ukansela so tagwirizana inyumba tisebenza hand in hand. So we are making sure by the end of January we have to finish this house. Now ipenta bwino tizaita na ba media pamene stand over kuli family kuti nyumba tasiriza tamanga. That's why he said tikuti pamene tifuna imira we mupinde tamene tambo chitira so timatandizira muntu amene okulupirika chabe mukafunsali wonse mama ndevu. That's why, you know what I told the people, I said it's like the president, you know what we are doing this, we are helping the president. Because without the president, we cannot do what we are doing. The president, His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu, has got heart for the people of this country. Now it's up to us who are representing him at constituency level, at the ward level, to support him the way we are doing right here now.
Felix Kandembwele, a victim of heavy rains, says the donated items will help restore dignity in his life.
It's a very big problem, of which alone cannot manage to do it, and maybe sort it out. So I really appreciate what the PF government is doing. And in addition with this, our leaders again. So I really thank them. May God bless them abundantly. I really thank them because alone I don't know whether I'm going to do it when I don't know. See that thing. So ninamjua mani pastor amene atandizira through mulunga vitira muje watamba. Most especially as he said it, speaking from our president, them cannot do this management. The president signed. So we really thank you people.
Mr. Tamba also took time to talk to the marketeers about COVID-19 and shared some party regalia and face masks. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka. Motorbike riders of Nyimba district in Eastern Province are appealing to the Road Transport and Safety Agency RTSA and the Zambia Police to engage the main supplier of the motorbikes in the area known as Gotama to start giving them white books once a person purchases a motorbike. The riders add that they do not want to be on the bad side of the law by having issues every time with the law enforcement agencies because of using unregistered motorbikes. They reiterate that this is an urgent issue that requires urgent responses given the fact that traffic officers always arrest them because of lacking such things. The riders have disclosed that they urgently need the white books in order for them to register their motorbikes and stop using unregistered motorbikes as if they are stolen.
The problem mainly, I should blame the one who is supplying these motorbikes. Because when we buy a motorbike, the supplier is supposed to give us a white book for us to register this motorbike. So that is the reason why most of the riders are riding unregistered motorbikes. The reason is because the owner doesn't want to give us white book. So we are appealing, our appeal to RATSA and police is to engage this Gatoma, the owner who is supplying these motorbikes, to give us white book. We don't want to ride unregistered motorbikes because we don't want to run away from police and RATSA. That is our main appeal to Gatoma. You should give us white book so that we can register these motorbikes.
Interesting item there from Eastern Province. We wish them well. We take a break. This is Camnet News.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Alamwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing. Don't tell me.
Yes!
I already know the secrets.
Oracle Pure Glycerin!
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
The Cowbell Choco formula has been stolen. Get it back at all costs. Tasting Cowbell Choco gives you the get up and go to be at the top of your game. Now with Vitality Plus Iron. Great tasting Cowbell Choco, a creamy chocolatey drink that helps give energy to get up and go.
Monday, 11th January 2021 on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chilua as he hosts a vibrant, young, creative, self-motivated leader, Mulenga Sata. You can participate on the program through phone calls, text and Zoom. Camnet TV, not just another channel. 2021 is finally here. Zambia is at the crossroads heading towards general elections this August. In the world where fake news, biased reporting on national issues has become the order of the day, in a world where social media in most cases spills lies and exaggerated information, insightful coverage, Zambia needs one media. Living in a country where people are slowly promoting tribalism, hatred, bitterness and revenge, political temperature is heating up and people's hearts are perplexed. Zambia needs one media. Zambia being a Christian nation living under the lordship of Jesus Christ, the nation cannot afford a compromised gospel. Zambia needs a prophetic media house. For hope, peace and unity, Zambia needs Camnet television for non-biased, factual reporting, balanced opinion, accurate news coverage. Zambia needs Camnet television for national projects and development of our beloved country Zambia. Watch Camnet TV on channel 274 DSTV, channel 98 on Go TV, and channel 106 on Topstar. Remember, Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying on. We move on with the news. The Patriotic Front Secretary General Davis Mwila says his party has paid all outstanding balances for its party members who were ordered to repay the state emoluments earned during their illegal stay in office after Parliament was dissolved in 2016. The party CEO says all bills have been settled except that of National Democratic Congress leader Chishimba Kamwili and Democratic Party leader Harry Kalaba. He says the resources are from individual party members. Mr. Mwila has described the act by its members to pay back the monies as an act of selfless service to the Zambian people. However, Mr. Mwila has not disclosed how much money the party has billed its members and how many of the party members have benefited from the service. Details on this.
It is barely 2 days from when the Constitutional Court announced that 43 out of 63 former cabinet ministers, their deputies and provincial ministers had asked the court to grant them leave to settle the debt in monthly installments as they were unable to settle the whole amount at once. In an affidavit in support of summons for an order for settlement of assessed amounts in installments, the 43 respondents, through their lawyer Bonaventure Mtale, asked the court to allow them pay the monthly installments of 10,000 kwacha each for those in employment. The applicants also applied for a monthly installments of 5,000 kwacha each for those who have retired. In a twist of events, Patriotic Front General Secretary Davis Mwila has announced that his party, through various contributions from businessmen and women, have paid all outstanding balances for their party members who were ordered to pay by the court.
I think, colleagues, you are all aware that the Constitutional Court had made a judgment that former ministers pay emoluments received between May 2016 and August 2016. Our reconciliation of the payments made a review that the judgment sum has been settled by our members. I would like to thank the individuals who were affected by this judgment and took the responsibility upon themselves to pay. This was done despite them having worked during this period. This indeed is a selfless service that was done to the Zambian people. Secondly, I would also like to thank the companies and individuals that have made donations towards the settlement of emoluments due in recognition of the service rendered by the former ministers during the said period. As a party, we remain committed to the tenets of the rule of law.
Mr. Mwila has also announced that his party will not be able to settle the balance for NDC leader Chimba Kambwili and DP President Harry Kalaba.
I have just briefed the nation that individuals who are members of the party and companies have paid for all the ministers who were owing money to government, those who had worked during that period, except Honorable Chimba Kambwili and Honorable Kalaba. Those, they have to pay for themselves. But all those who are members of the party, the money has been paid for.
The amount paid has not yet been disclosed, While it is not clear how many of its party officials have benefited from the gesture. Prudence Chota for Camnet TV News.
National Democratic Congress Party NDC chairperson for Economic and National Development Planning, Franklin Membe, says the recently launched economic recovery plan was ill-conceived and came too late for the ruling Patriotic Front government to implement the plan. Mr. Membe says it does not make sense for the PF government to spend so much resources formulating an economic recovery plan when they have less than 6 months in government to implement the plan. In an interview with Camnet TV, Mr. Membe stressed that the 2020 ERP is what President Edgar Lungu was expected to launch in 2015, but unfortunately he had no plans. He explained that the 2020 ERP has a lot of errors and concentrates more on mineral mining when the country has been talking about economic diversification. Mr. Membe further explains that the PF government is trying to invest billions of dollars in the mining sector when it is only required a fraction of those dollars to make Zambia a food basket for the whole SADC region.
This is the kind of plan we expected in 2015 when you came in as president. That's the plan we expected you to present. But instead, you had no vision and no plan. And now, when 5 months before election, now you have a plan. And that plan has got many, many errors. You have concentrated on mineral mining. When we have been singing the song of diversification, this country, if you're trying to spend millions and millions, billions of dollars on investing in the mines, when you only need a fraction of those dollars to make this country a basket, a food basket for the whole SADC region, if not Africa. The savior of Zambia is agriculture. Right now, the mines are giving us 25% of the GDP. If we invested heavily in agriculture, agriculture can give us even 30 or 40% of GDP in this country.
The Patriots for Economic Progress PAPE party president Sean Tembo is saddened by President Edgar Lungu's failure to condemn the act by the Ministry of Health when it endangered the lives of many citizens through the delivery of substandard medical kits supplied by Honeybee Pharmacy as contracted by the ministry. Mr. Tembo also says President Edgar Lungu has also failed to assure the nation that all those involved in this scandal will be persecuted according to what the law depicts. In a statement made available to Camnet TV, Mr. Tembo says there is no question that substandard medical supplies have also put the medical personnel in danger. The opposition leader also says this has eroded public confidence, hence the need for the president to quickly act and assure the people of safety by strongly speaking against the perpetrators.
We are very, very saddened with the continued silence by President Edgar Lungu regarding the Honeybee Pharmacy scandal under the Ministry of Health. It must be noted that this particular scandal is of untold proportions, primarily because of two reasons. Number one, the amount involved of $17 million, which actually translates to about 340 million KWACHA, which represents a huge portion of taxpayers' money. And then also the products that are involved, which are medical supplies. There is no question that expired medicines and leaking gloves and condoms have a huge public health risk on the population of this country. And so we expected the president to rise to the occasion and strongly condemn this scandal and assure the nation that all those involved will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And also assure the nation that this scandal will not repeat itself, and also that the rest of the medical supplies under the Ministry of Health are safe for public use. But this has been absent, and also added to this is the fact that one of the directors of this company appears to be affiliated as a close personal friend of the president.
The United Prosperous and Peaceful Zambia Party UPPZ Lusaka District Director Teza Mulwanda has advised political players and citizens to uphold peace and unity in the country as the country heads towards the August general elections. Mr. Mulwanda says there is need to show objectivity in the way politics are run in the country by influencing voters with a positive message of hope and not character assassination, which he says breeds violence. He says Zambia belongs to everyone, adding that all citizens must be given equal opportunities to take part in the governance of the country without any interference. Meanwhile, Mr. Mulwanda has urged the youths to refrain from being used as tools of violence.
I'd like to advise all political players and the citizenry to uphold the peace and the unity in this country. We have our national values and principles that we need to adhere to, but the situation on the ground dispels paradox. We only have one Zambia. Peace is very important and unity is equally important. We need to show objectivity in the way we do our politics. Politics are perceived to be a dirty game because of the way we are running them. There's too much bad-mouthing one another, disparaging one another, and that the violence that we've seen being perpetrated across the broad spectrum of our society. That is not healthy for a country like Zambia, especially that we are nearing the polls. So I'm appealing to all Zambians to stay united. Let's fight for one common good, and that is prosperity, unity, and love for one another. And youths out there, please, do not be used as political mercenaries who are paid to wreak havoc in the society. You have a legacy to protect, a legacy for posterity. What you do today may affect the future generations.
You're watching Camnet News. We take another break. Join me shortly for international and sports news.
Dr. Bigron, musaibala komutienda okuni gift na land. Uchitenkubeti uibise mojo basaione. Oh! Mwina mushi, nakuletera njinga. Latest ina ruvesi gear na mawaipa.
Difficult ili ashiria njinga. Liam 19 pendef kondo. Transport, we got it.
Nanga phone for communication. Ipunzi sana chizungu. Yeah, you see what I mean?
It's a camera, difficult.
It's communication. We got it. Inemomi! Powerful system ndimba X-Buzz.
Mufumile kukalale na mnaimo muli bakumushi. We got it. Yo Bikron, utole noleta nchemfule mungani. Ngecho wachira pose na nchitinshi. 1, 2, 3, both of you. Kabala ngempanga. Don't be stupid. We got it.
Can I have that meal over there? And I really want that crisp, fresh apple taste from the garden. Can I have happy apple?
I think I'll have my big bite 2 meal with happy waziwaka. Give us your
enjoy an appetizing big bite meal with an happy drink of your choice. A meal is not a meal without an happy drink. And now introducing Appy in a can.
Monday, 11th January 2021 on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chilua as he hosts a vibrant, young, creative, self-motivated leader, Mulenga Sata. You can participate on the program through phone calls, text and Zoom. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
You're watching Camnet News. Thank you so much for staying on. In international news, more pictures are emerging from the moments the United States Capitol was overrun, and they appear to reinforce perception that police force was outnumbered and overwhelmed. At least one officer was killed in the process. In other news, but still in the global front, a collective of Libyan artists and musicians have bounded together to highlight the effects of the coronavirus in the country already torn apart by conflict. Libya has experienced years of civil war and has reported more than 104,000 cases of coronavirus since the beginning of the pandemic. Al Jazeera has more on these stories.
A police officer is crushed in a doorway in the Capitol building, caught between an angry crowd and an outnumbered police force. A lapse in security on the stage where Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be sworn in as the U.S. President and Vice President in a few days' time.
They broke the glass. Everybody stay down. Get down.
Inside the chamber, members of Congress took cover before supporters of President Donald Trump entered. Dozens have been arrested. They include Richard Barrett, who broke into Nancy Pelosi's office and later bragged on television about taking her mail.
The activities of those involved in this siege of our Capitol were violent, they were destructive, they resulted in tragic loss of life, and they threatened our nation's security. And those actions cannot be tolerated, and those people must be held accountable.
And it was amazing. We could see the president talk.
Some did not survive. Air Force veteran Ashley Babbitt was filmed attempting to enter the speaker's lobby through a broken window before being shot by an officer, a scene captured on several videos according to the journalism website Bellingcat. Officer Brian Sicknick died from injuries he suffered on Wednesday. Flags in the Capitol are being flown at half-staff in his memory. Police say some protesters were armed, including with homemade explosives. This person is suspected of leaving pipe bombs at the Democratic and Republican Party headquarters. Another man was arrested with guns and 11 bombs containing homemade napalm in his truck. Others are expected to be prosecuted. Many had not worn masks and were filmed. Health officials are also warning that the event could have spread coronavirus and may have consequences for public health.
Tucked deep within Tripoli's old city, the Iskandar House of Arts gives Libya's musicians and artists a space to express themselves. Entitled Persistence, this exhibition highlights the COVID-19 pandemic in a country already torn apart by years of conflict. It brings together photographers and artists who want to prove through their art that they can overcome the challenges.
Unfortunately, in Libya, support for artists is absent. This is why we created this art house, so artists can express themselves and send messages through their art.
People's hopes, fears, and experiences of living with a lack of basic services like electricity are all expressed here. The city of Tripoli saw intense violence for 14 months when warlord Khalifa Haftar's Libyan National Army, or LNA, launched a military offensive in April last year. His forces later retreated towards the east after the internationally recognized Tripoli government retook LNA-held territory in June. And as well as war, the difficulties of living through a pandemic.
I'm
a doctor. COVID-19 was really hard for us. I was afraid I would spread COVID to my family from the hospital. There was fear and panic. When I would leave the hospital, those feelings were a heavy burden on me. So I would express them in colours in my art to lighten the load.
For these people, Persistence shows the importance of persevering through hardship.
Neither war or disease stop an artist from creating. As artists, we express our experiences in our canvases, in our music. That's why we organise this event, to give our artists a space to express themselves.
Now, after nearly 6 months of calm in Tripoli, these artists are beginning to hope that the pain and fear may start to fade, and a new life in Libya may begin.
We now look at sports news. In sports news, a government has banned football fans from accessing the football stadia as the FAZ-MTN Super League resumes this afternoon. Sports Minister Emmanuel Mulenga says this is due to the rise in the COVID-19 cases. He says the decision was made after holding a series of meetings with stakeholders. Addressing the media in Kitwe this afternoon, Mr. Mulenga says the fans should watch the games on television in their homes. He says government does not want people to contract the virus, from hence taking such measures by preventing people to gather in large numbers. Meanwhile, the FAZ General Secretary, Adrian Kashala, says the association will fully comply with the government's directive and wishes to advise all clubs to adhere to the Minister of Youth, Sports and Child Development, Emmanuel Mulenga's announcement on the ban of spectators until further notice. Kashala says the health of the players, officials, fans and other stakeholders remains a priority, and the decision by government to prohibit fans from stadia will allow the football disciplines to continue based on the advice given by government. Well, that note ends our news, but before we go, let's just look at the headlines once again. Eastern Province motorbike riders banned for demand for white books. LUMANGWE force in KAWAMBWA district receives a facelift worth over 5 million KWACHA. In Patriotic Front, party clears arrears for all illegal 2016 office bearers. In international news, FBI pursues Trump supporters involved in the Capitol siege. And in sports news, government bans football fans at all FAZ-MTN Super League games. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day. It's coming from Proverbs 11 verse 30, and it reads, "The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, but violence takes lives." Thank you so much for joining us on our news desk tonight. Remember to ensure that you observe the COVID-19 measures that have been put in place to avoid the spread of the COVID-19. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. Thank you so much. Good night.